Hi, she's Katie Proctor, the owner of Books with Pictures here in Portland, Oregon.
And this is writer and critic Douglas Wolk.
And there's a bunch of comics this week that we're super excited about.
For real.
There's one little thing we want to advise you of first, which is the new issue of Exiles, number 6, written by Saladin Ahmed, is beautifully drawn by Rod Rice in exactly an approximation of Bill Sienkiewicz's old painted style. And I'm just going to go ahead and spoil the final page for you because it's amazing. Old West Chala. Amazing. That's all about that. But there's some comics we want to talk about at a little bit greater length, and the first of them is
Black Badge number 1.
Black Badge.
Black Badge number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, Black Badge is, it feels, let's see, starting with, it is Matt Kint, Tyler Jenkins, Hilary Jenkins, and lettered by Jim Campbell. And it starts in a very sort of familiar mode. It is a Boy Scout story. We have scouts, we meet them, they have relatively familiar tropes.
And they're going on a little adventure to earn a badge.
In Korea.
Yeah. And they take a wrong turn to Albuquerque or whatever and end up in North Korea on what turns out to be not the kind of mission they thought it was going to be. And this is written by Matt Kint, who for most of his career has been doing all sorts of amazing spy-related comics. And it's a spy comic. It's also kind of a sideways kind of conceptual sequel to Mind Management, which was his series over the last few years. It's the sort of freaky, hilarious, inventive stuff that he specializes in. And it's super, super fun, and it keeps taking turns.
It's clever,
Yeah.
It's funny, it's very, very pretty.
It's really beautifully printed, too.
Yeah.
It's like on uncoated stock that you don't really see very often in comics these days, and it feels nice to the hand. It looks beautiful. I wouldn't be surprised if there were messages printed in invisible ink somewhere in it. It's that kind of a comic.
Yeah, Black Badge number 1.
Now, the other big debut today is the first of a new universe. It is the Sandman Universe.
All right, so this hits a spot for me because Sandman was basically more or less my first comic. It's the first comic I had like big feelings about when I was in high school. And so I'm very protective of it, and I always feel a little nervous when I see other people mucking around with it.
This is okay. This is pretty good.
This is pretty good.
This gives us the feelings. Feelings that are Sandman-like feelings, which is exactly what it needed to do. And this, we should point out, is written by Neil Gaiman and 4 other people. It's story by him, but then there's a script by the 4 people who are going to be writing the 4 ongoing Sandman Universe comics.
Right, so the format of the thing is that we are basically, it is one continuous narrative, more or less, but what it is doing is giving a few pages to each of the architects of what is going to be 4 new ongoing series.
The Dreaming, Books of Magic, Lucifer, and House of Whispers. This is a new title in the sort of House of Secrets, House of Mystery continuum. And those were the series that DC published back in the 60s and 70s and even a little bit before, which were horror anthology books and eventually got hosts, Cain and Abel, who became ongoing characters within Sandman, and now this is a new sort of thing.
And to appear here.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give a lot away, honestly.
Lesbian Erzuli.
What?
Lesbian Erzuli.
Yes. Yes, there are super lovely New Orleans hipster lesbian magical women. There's crows. You need crows. There's unexpectedly powerful boy wizards.
There's grotesquerie, there's comedy, there's big page turn feelings.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really clever dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue that goes from being very clever to very impactful very quickly. There are whole long sequences where you don't really understand what's going on. You need to go back and read it again. That's fine.
That's Sandman for you. Yeah. It's back in its way. it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.